Hey, my name's Sam. If you're looking for help in your settlement, I'm your guy. And I've got two of them. Helping hands, helping feet, helping ears. For when you need a good listener. I've got everything you need. But you haven't even heard my pitch. Crap, it's the eyebrows, isn't it? I've been told they're too intimidating, but I feel like they're important for my branding. I'm Sam, and I kinda just walked in. Although I guess wandered in aimlessly while sweating buckets is a more accurate answer. And you can't go wrong with being Mary. At least Mary with an E. You know, getting married is another story you kinda go wrong half the time, statistically speaking. Well, I'm a jack of all trades. And I know what you're thinking. That also means I'm a master of none. But what do you want a master for anyway? A person like that probably has a huge ego and spends all day letting everyone know about it. Whereas me, I'm not just low maintenance. I am no maintenance. You won't even know I'm here. I think so. It's been a while, but you know what they say. It's just like riding a bike. Just ignore the fact that I've never actually ridden one. Metaphorically, I've done it 1,000 times. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like an elephant, and those are great. But yeah, if you don't have a specific job for me, I can just work on repairing stuff at my shop here. Maybe even compose a few tunes while I work. And I won't forget it. Unless you get eaten by a Yaoguai or something. At which point, it's probably fair to call the Yaoguai master instead. No, rules are rules. Well, I'd love to just sit back and compose music. And I've heard it's best to do what you love. Well, provided what you love isn't cracking your knuckles. Something about that sound just... ugh. Really? Sorry about that. I sometimes tend to talk in circles. But you know what that makes me? A revolutionary. Yeah? Get it? Because I talk in a... Yeah, never mind. But do you know what you're not good at? Being at two places at once. And that's where I come in. Hopefully. Point is, I can help fix things, play things, and even tell a bad joke. You already know that much. Yes! Not often I get a job on the first try. They say third time's the charm, but in my experience, it's usually the 50th. But this should help tilt the average. Thank you. This will give me the chance to help a lot of people. I really appreciate it. I'll try. Sure, we got off on the wrong foot, but once I figure out which foot that is, all I gotta do is use the other one. Process of elimination, baby! Alright, what do you want to know? Honestly, I'm mostly self-taught. I've always learned better by doing instead of reading. Plus, I found there's no better teacher than necessity. So, I learned how to fix a furnace because I didn't want to freeze to death. And I learned how to make a generator because no power means no furnace. But that means a lot of my knowledge is really specific. If you ask me to do something like fix a hairdryer, you might as well be asking me to build a spaceship. I don't know, boss. Maybe fix your vanity instead? That or smash every mirror you find. Works for me anyway. Well, if my job depends on it, I can give it a shot. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? Don't know who said it, but I'm guessing their boss had slightly lower goals in mind. I've gone this far, haven't I? Being a fix-it guy wasn't my first choice, but I feel like I'm good at it. And you can tell I'm not bullshitting you, because I'm still alive and breathing. Well, then I guess I'm just lucky. But better lucky than dead, right? I think that's how the saying goes. If not, that's what it should be anyway. Yeah, I like to think I've got the mental part down. The physical? I'm working on it. Although endurance is probably more helpful when you're fixing pipes and not dodging bullets. My ma and I used to move around a lot. We never had a place we called home. I remember I was about 10 years old when I met this other kid at a junkyard. He offered to teach me how to fix up old radios, and we'd sell them for 50 caps apiece. So the first one I got working, I turned the dial, and out comes this song about West Virginia. Best song I ever heard. And ever since then, I've always wanted to visit. I mean, yeah, I get that it's just a song, but you never know. Maybe it's got a point. And this place right here is where I belong. Not that it matters now, but I've always had this dream of becoming a rock star. And maybe in some alternate universe where the world didn't turn to shit, that dream might have had a chance. But I've seen the posters, and well, there aren't a lot of people who look like me. Yeah, I've never heard of an Asian rock star. Not anyone with a chart topper, anyway. Maybe. I like to think music is something that unites people. And maybe in this world, it doesn't matter what I look like. Just how I play. I was talking about the way I look. If you look at the posters, it almost seems like music isn't meant for people with my complexion. But I guess that was the old world. From now on, we get to make our own rules. It's funny. Ma always said the world would end before I got my first real gig. Turns out she was right. Well, when you're a junkyard kid, pretty much any piece of scrap can make music. And if you've got nothing else, you can always just blow into a bottle. But my first, it was a little hand instrument. Yup, I took a mousetrap and some bobby pins and made myself a makeshift piano. I called it the thumb piano, because you played the pins with your thumbs and thumped the wood like a drum. And I could play it like nobody's business, until it cracked and fell apart from all the thumping. Oh, no. I know I poke fun at myself, but I don't think I'd want to deliberately humiliate myself. Besides, I like to think I've gotten pretty good at playing actual instruments. I'd much rather play those instead. Hey, not everything can be a Stradivarius, and the thumb piano has a special place in my heart. It was my first love, after all. Well, the mousetrap was just for the wood, and you sort of flick the pins to make the sound. It's not a very good sound, mind you, but it was my first love. Still, while it's fun to think about and reminisce, at the end of the day, you grow up and move on. Well, if you can stay a child at heart in this world, more power to you. It's not so easy though these days, at least for me. Mirrors don't help. Exactly. Never look back. Especially when there's a 20-foot death claw behind you. If you're gonna eat me, fine, but I'd rather not see any teeth. That's a healthy attitude to have. In fact, you've got a good diet of healthy thoughts. You're like the balanced breakfast of wastelanders. Me, I'm more of a sugar bombs guy, but to each their own. Hey, I've loved people too. Just not as much as my Thumbiano. That thing would never cheat on me. Uh, provided I can still play it. It's a bit like playing a video game. Kids are always going to be better at that stuff than adults. Personally, I think you'd be much better off giving me a guitar and letting me rock out like a proper grown-up. No worries, boss. Sure. I hear you get up to a lot of adventures out there. Anything you'd like to share? Oh shit, I love that camera! A funny story. I once made a night vision lens out of crystal I got from a floater freezer's pus sac. I didn't have much use for the pus though. Anyways, that took a weird detour. What pictures did you take with that camera? Anything interesting? Oh yeah. Wilderness hikes are always a good way to relax. I'd like to rent a cabin one day and finish a hold record. Someday. In the Savage Divide, right? Oh man, when I heard about it, I thought the house was like a giant pumpkin. Nope, turns out it's an ordinary house. A lot of pumpkins around it though. Oh yeah? That's kind of a weird thing to put on your bucket list if you ask me. But that might be the artist in me talking. We don't usually write songs about monuments to capitalism. Oh, I've been there! Personally, I'd rather go to the Waffle House on the other end of the building. Because if I have the choice between a house of scares and a house of waffles, I'm choosing the waffles every time. Even if they haven't served any in ages. Castles are always fun. In another life, maybe I'd be a bard. A lot of history in that place from what I've heard. When you got to fight the power, it helps to have guns. No bigger trap for tourists and teenagers than a pre-war shopping center. Why visit a historic landmark when you can browse the menswear section at Big Steve's Sporting Goods? No, I'm kidding. I love malls. It's like a junkyard with more organization. Well, that's what cameras are for, right? You take a picture and it serves as a backup memory. Isn't technology great? Oh, it wasn't that interesting of a story. It was a dead floater someone else killed. Whoever killed it didn't have use for the crystal or the pus. I did. Nice. Photos are always a fun complement to a story. Not that you can't paint a picture with words, but it's nice sometimes to let an actual picture do the work. No worries, boss. Ah, finally! It's Sam's time to shine. What do you need, boss? I can sell you some gear, give you a tune-up, or we can just shoot the shit. Not literally, though. I mean, I don't even have a gun, and I don't think you'll let me borrow yours. Well, I can fix your weapons. I'm pretty good at that. Shooting them? Not so much. But yeah, I know what I can't do, and I know what I can. I guess my point is, we should stick with the latter. Funny you ask. I've always been good at tuning things. Doesn't matter if it's a piano, an engine, or even a person. Only thing I can't tune is a fish. Get it? Because you can't tune Forget it. Bad joke. What I'm trying to say is, I know a few tricks to get your mind centered. But the effects can be pretty random. I wouldn't say it's healing so much as it is getting your body to play the right chord. You're not broken, just slightly off key. Well, sometimes there isn't much difference between science and magic. Like when you blow into a cartridge or kick a generator and it just starts working. You wouldn't think it'd help, but it does. Well, bullshit is actually spoken in a higher octave. So if I start singing in soprano, you know I'm just fucking with you. Great. You've got an adventurous personality, boss. That's good. But I don't know. Why don't we try it out and see if it takes? It might not. Yeah, you look a little off-center. It's probably all that weight you're carrying. It actually reminds me of a song I wrote about trusting your friends to take on your burdens. Because remember, you don't have to do it alone. I mean, for one, I'm here, and so is that rock over there. See? One big happy family. Hmm. Looks like you're just fine to me. All tuned up and ready to rock. Check it out. I'm working on a new song about an ex-girlfriend. It's part romance, part cautionary tale. I just had an idea. What if we had every door in your camp tied to a piano? Then you could unlock them all with the, right key? Yeah? Need some junk? I've got plenty. You know what I miss? Fresh laundry. Like, if I had a choice between a million caps and a pair of warm socks, well, I'd take the caps, but my cold-ass feet would hate the decision. I'm used to playing in front of petrified corpses. They're a pretty tough crowd. I'd like to try fixing a car once. But I guess I need to fix the roads first. Might be easier just to make a sled pulled by mole rats. How's it going, boss? Hope you didn't pick up any new scars on the way home. Gotta protect that moneymaker. I'm a jack of all trades with instruments, too. Pianos, drums, banjos. I can play pretty much anything. I once met a guy who was starting his own rock band. Had a voice like nails on a chalkboard, but he had the right look. Sometimes that matters more. You here for a tune-up? Or just some friendly banter? What do you need, boss?